My name is Julio Alves. I teach classical guitar music theory at Marshall University, and I just recently concluded my doctorate in music. In a nutshell, what I pursue with my students is the two things that I really focus when I work with my students. One obviously is to prepare them for the market job that they will face with the choice that they made in music, and to develop the necessary skills they need to succeed in the professional world of music. Together with that, and just as important as this, I work with them with the goal to make myself obsolete to them, to help them to be inquisitive and to be able to solve their own problems and to find their own solutions, which means gradually not to have to be depending on me, to be self-sufficient in this regard. I must confess that when I came to Marshall in 2006 and I heard about that I heard that I was going to be working with a student who had been diagnosed with autism, I did not have too many initial expectations. I was actually more afraid, I would say. I don't know if afraid is the right word, but I was, well, probably it is the right word. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know what to expect. I had no idea how I was going to deal with the situation, because throughout my entire education I never had been prepared for an experience like that. So I was a mixture of excited but a big percentage of afraid, I guess. You know, to me, nowadays, looking back to the entire process and knowing that the student has graduated, achieved his goals, it was a wonderful journey for me. I learned a lot. Perhaps I should let him know about that I learned just as much, if not more, than what he did in other terms, because nowadays I feel that if I have to teach another student with autism, I know much better how to interact and to be able to work with such student. To understand autism in a different perspective. See, before, I must confess, I had this bias of, okay, autism, so I don't know how much this person can do a thing. I don't know if he'll be able to listen to my instruction. I don't know, which type of strategies I will use to reach his attention. And in the first 2 semesters, I would say that I just really did a long work of guessing things and trying by trial and error. I would say, well, this works, this doesn't work, and it was very important to me the support of the Autism Center here at Marshall, who actually provided the workshops, for the teachers, and also just the support that I had, like individually. I would walk there and say, look, I have no idea what I do, what should I do, help me with this, help me with that. And little by little, the staff there, they were able to kind of calm down, to show me that was not from another world, that I just needed to be patient. And I don't think it's important. I think it's vital. If you do not build such relationship with your student, you're not going to do any progress. You're not going to see anything happen. What I realized is Jason needs to be taught in a different way, because unless if I understand his needs and how he can be reached, I can speak in any language. I mean, by the way, as you probably can see in this video, this is not my first language. So I had already, from the beginning, the understanding that I need to find what hooks his interest, his attention, and from there you will start doing things. The specific thing they're talking about is one day we were having a lesson here in this studio, and I'm telling him about how to do a crescendo with his music, with his with his plucking, and to promote this increase of volume in his playing. And he's looking at me like, well, I don't know what to do. It's like Greek to me, I guess. That's the impression I first had. Then I just said, you know what, Jason, let's do differently. Just put your guitar in your case. Let's go out. And he looked like with the eyes like surprised. And you mean out of the building? I said, yes, let's go out of the building. So from here to outside of the building, we started talking to each other, and I asked him specific questions, and I said, have you ever thrown like a stone, trying to maybe, I don't know, to hit a target, or, just for fun, or like in the movie, sometimes you throw a rock to see if it kicks if it keeps jumping over the river, in the river, and he said, sure, and by the way, he was always very categorical on correcting my English. So I mean, it was very fun to see that. He would correct my prepositions, my articles, everything. So we are outside, and I say, Jason, why don't we do this? Look, and then I got this rock, and I threw, and I said, look at that. And he saw, the trajectory of the rock, and and I said, why don't you do a little bit? And I said, what? Why? I said, oh, let's just, we can go to the office and be playing. This is more fun, don't you think? And he said, yeah. And then he did it a couple of times. And I said, now I want you to imagine that, this is like the music that you're playing there. And I want you to make it louder, as loud as possible. And he started laughing, having a lot of fun. And I actually had to tell him, careful not to throw the stone the other side of the street and hit a car, that type of thing. Well, he had a good time. Well, we came back to our office, and in about 3 attempts he was doing it with his playing what I had asked before. Well, after that I realized, well, I don't know if I need every single time to be outside with him doing things, but that was the key. I realized I need to do things in the way that Jason will feel interested to do it. And if that means I have to bring him outside every single time, then I will do it. And we didn't have to have this every single time, but I was very surprised to see, because what I had learned is that one of the things with autism is that they are very literal, and sometimes it's hard to make this type of connections, when you just build analogies, and then I realized, wow, it is true. If I had tried just to make the analogy of throwing a stone, maybe that would not have been as successful. But the problem is that the key was not just the analogy. I actually went outside with him, and it was a physical action. He actually did it, and when he came back, instead of having to abstract that idea, he actually could just recollect what he had done, and I proudly can tell you that from my colleagues here in school, especially the faculty from the string area, when he did his hearing for his senior recital, they said, this is amazing. Wow, he is doing it. Congratulations. And that was one of the most rewarding times that I had in my entire life, is when I realized, yes, he did it. Against all the odds of people who told he would not finish, he finished without any help or anything. It was really nice to see that. Perhaps not to be afraid to recognize that you are probably afraid, and then to ask for assistance. As I said in the beginning, I don't know if I would be able to have done this whole thing by myself without the support of the Autism Center. So I would imagine that somebody in another institution would have the same opportunity. If they have so, just keep in touch regularly with the staff of the Autism Center, and just I know it sounds kind of strange to think that way, because you really need to separate things, and many things that I do with my students I would not necessarily do with my daughters, for instance. But the way I actually saw is, to me, Jason, in many ways, he had needs that I try to put myself, what about if he was one of my kids? You know, how can I actually really help him to, you know, I need to get his trust. I need him to, because the problem is that I realize is, while I'm afraid, I know how to go and ask for help. But if he is afraid, sometimes he doesn't know or he doesn't want to express that. So the important thing I would say to any faculty who will be working with somebody with autism is just make your environment, make your classes, your lessons as comfortable as possible. Be patient, because you're going to have to be patient, really patient many times. It is frustrating. Not I'm saying about this story that was a big thing for us, but I could tell you a lot of others that they were not as successful initially. Then just be ready to make mistakes and ready to improve. You know, many things will come and you're gonna learn. And honestly, it's been what I think it's been about a year Jason left, and even among his colleagues who are still here, I mean, there is not like a month that we do not remember him, talk about him. I mean, he really made history here in our department. We are very proud to see his accomplishment, and up to this day, I still keep in touch with him and his family, and you know, I think that's it. It's just to be ready, to be willing to do what is best for your student, and to be ready also to run risks. You're going to have to try to do things that maybe you never read in a book, or maybe even the staff from the Autism Center will not be able to tell you at once because of the particularities of your own areas. So it's just to have this combination of things: the willingness to do it, plus the humbleness to look for help, and the patience to work with him or her.